I'm the problem, it's me. Hey, T Swift said it best, but the reality is that most of us as CEOs of our own gym, we're the thing that's limiting the growth. I'm Chris Cooper, this is Run a Profitable Gym, and today I'm going to talk about lifting the ceiling for your gym, removing the biggest obstacle to its success, you. Knowing the strategies and tactics to grow your gym is essential, but success really comes down to developing key entrepreneurial skills. And until you develop these skills, you will always be the ceiling for your gym's growth. Now, look, I own Two Brain Business. We publish free content every single day. I can give you every tactic and strategy that you need to grow your gym, but it's not just about knowing what to do, it's about doing it. And sometimes the only thing standing in your way is you. So I'll give you an example. Every single day in gymownersunited.com, we pass out links to blog articles, podcast links. Every 3 weeks, I create this big, amazing guide that you can follow step by step, copy, paste, do this, click here, do that. These guides are enormously helpful. They will make you money. It's not like you should do a referral program. It's here's exactly what to say to get a referral. But there are a lot of people in the groups, hundreds of people get these guides every single time I give them out. Maybe you're one of them. Lots of people use these guides to make money, but some people just collect these guides because they want to gather more information. And the reason they want to gather more information is they think that knowledge is power, that having more information is what's going to grow their gym. That's a falsehood. Possessing the information will not do anything. You have to act on it. So if you've taken one of these guides or you're a real collector, you've got them all printed out in binders and stuff. Some people show me pictures of this. If that's all you're doing, I have bad news. You're the problem. It's not the knowledge. The knowledge will get the results. And guess what? I've been the problem in my business too. In tough times, your gym will sink to the level of its systems, right? How good are you on your worst day? In good times, you will rise to the level of your marketing. Hey, when people are ready to come in, are you there welcoming them? But at all times, your gym will be limited by its leadership, and that is you. All right, so let's talk about strategies, tactics, and skills. Strategies are your overarching plans, right? Like your business plan, here's how I'm going to get from $10,000 a month to $30,000 a month. Here are the steps. Tactics are the specific actions that you're going to take. Like I'm going to do email marketing, I'm going to do referrals, I'm going to implement this first 90 days for retention. Skills are the actions that make those tactics happen. They're the abilities that make execution on the tactics possible. For example, focus is a skill. If you've got focus, you have the time and the focus to do the thing that will actually make your business grow. The cool thing about skills is that skills compound. They become more valuable over time because you get better and better at them. You can focus for longer. You can focus deeper. They're not copyable by your competition. They're untaxable and they're irreplaceable. Once you've got them, you're not going to lose them. So they provide lifelong returns. Even if one business fails, now you've got skills that you can apply to the next business that's going to take off way faster with fewer limits. So here are the 5 skills that gym owners need in 2025. Okay? The first skill is focus. Focus is your ability to dedicate undistracted time to one task that will grow your business. Basically, it's can you sit down and do the work? So the most successful gym owners in Two Brain's mentorship program say, I just did what my mentor tells me. And I'm sure if you've listened to our leaderboard show, you've heard that quote every single episode. I just do what my mentor tells me. But there are other people in the program who come in at varying levels of distraction and say, oh, I'm too busy to do that today. Oh man, I don't have time for that. That's a big project. I don't know. I got to do something else first. The focused owners progress 4.5 times faster than anybody else because they are the ones who can sit there and get the work done. So they'll have a call with their mentor. Today we're going to build a sales binder. Here's the template. Here's your pricing. Go. Got it. Next week they're on a call. Good. Now we're going to role play selling from that sales binder. Let's do 5 role plays. Then you're going to practice 5 times with a coach. Role play. Got it. Move on. Okay. Now let's talk about bridging the gap in the next 90 days for your clients. We're going to build that next thing. Other people who come into the program unfocused, they're not ready. They don't have a time block. They're going to do it in between clients. They're going to do it after their workout. I'm going to take the calls from my car. They are not going to get those things done. And so while they will eventually get an ROI from mentorship, that ROI is not going to come nearly as quickly, and the results won't compound as quickly. You want to pack the snowball as quickly as you can and get it rolling down the hill as fast as possible, instead of, well, let's pick up one snowflake here and one snowflake there, and then one day we'll put them all together. That's not how it works. So focus is an enormous skill. Here's my mantra. Every day, do one thing to grow my business before I do anything else. This is called my golden hour, and I just wrote a book about it. When I get up in the morning, 5 a.m., I pour a cup of coffee. By 5:15, I am on my couch doing my golden hour work. I, go to a place with a door that closes. I open my mind to some written meditation, etc. I lead with 15 minutes of marketing, and then I do the project that I'm working on that day. I end at the hour, and I note my next steps. I write a checklist for the day. That's what focus looks like. And people who've been in Two Brain for 3 years are now getting faster results than they've ever gotten because they've developed this skill. They always had the strategies, they always had the tactics, and now doing the golden hour gives them the focus to get the work done, and it's the work that matters. Okay. Think about all of your clients who are reading fitness magazines, reading cookbooks, reading diet, books, watching videos about lifting, and never come to the gym. They're not getting any results, are they? And it's the exact same thing if all you're doing is listening to podcasts, reading business books. It doesn't matter how many you read. You can read 100 a year. If you're not sitting down and taking action on them, you're not going to get anywhere. Here's how to get focus in your business. Create a daily focus block. This is one uninterrupted hour to work on doing the things that grow your business. It's not mopping the floor. It's calling leads. It's not coaching a class. It's auditing your ads, okay? Leave distractions like your phone outside of that workplace. Don't even bring them to the couch with you. Use accountability tools like scheduled check-ins with your mentor. So, some of my clients who are working on golden hour, they text me right at the end of their golden hour. That's their end next steps. That's how they finish their golden hour, by texting me, done. The next skill that every gym owner needs in 2025 is objective reflection. And this is the ability to honestly evaluate your performance without bias or defensiveness. So, for example, let's say that a gym owner notices their ads aren't working. Instead of saying, Facebook sucks, I only get cold leads, they analyze their messaging and improve it. So here's how Two Brain mentors would approach this problem. First off, we would look at your entire funnel metrics. So how many leads are you getting? How many of those leads are booking appointments? How many of those appointments are showing up? And how many of those appointments are closing? This will quite often show us that leads are not the problem, that conversion to an appointment is the problem, or conversion into a client is the problem. Just breaking that down into the 4 stages helps us identify the problem and get to a solution. You can't say Facebook ads don't work when all the other gyms in your town are successfully using Facebook ads. That's a cop-out. You need to objectively look at your metrics. I'll give you another one. Let's say that you got 300 clients, but you're not making $100,000 a year take home. Well, you need to look at your metrics and figure out what is the problem here. You've got 300 people willing to do whatever you say any day of the week, and you can't make a living at this. You should be able to do that with 150 people. So you need to look at your metrics. Now, a mentor is going to look at those metrics objectively. It's very hard when you're in it to think, man, I'm failing here. Because you see busy classes, you see happy coaches, you see shiny new equipment, and you think, I'm winning. But the reality is you can still go bankrupt if you're not willing to objectively look at your metrics. There was a time when I was scared to look at my bank account every day, and so I just didn't look. And I figured, hey, if worst comes to worst, I won't see it coming. I won't stress about it. But that's the wrong approach to take. So here's how to build the skill of objective reflection. Number 1, track your key metrics. You need to track your retention rate, your average revenue per member, how many clients you have for sure, all the marketing metrics that I mentioned earlier, like leads, set rate, show rate, close rate, and a few others, how much you're getting paid, what your time is worth, etc. Then you need to conduct weekly reflections. Hey, what worked this week and what actually didn't? Journal that. You don't have to tell anybody else. It helps to have a mentor acting as your mirror and asking you these questions, but even if you just write it down, you can always come back and look at it later. And the third tip is come back and look at it later. You need to look at your journal. You need to look at your numbers. For example, I I got into trouble in August of 2009. I was having a bad month. I couldn't pay the rent. The city tax bill had come due. I'd already missed 2 of my own paychecks. And I said, man, this business is like not for me. I don't know what I've got to do here. And then it occurred to me, like, does this always happen in August? Should I go back? So I went back in MindBody at the time. I looked at the previous year in August. August last year wasn't this bad. What did I do differently? Oh, right. I had a bunch of hockey teams coming in to train for preseason. I didn't do that this year. That bridged the gap for me last year. I've got to put that in a plan. I can't forget to do it next year. So looking back objectively makes you successful when you look forward again, because you can make a plan. The third skill that you need to succeed in a gym owner in 2025 is tact and de-escalation. So this is the ability to navigate tough conversations, whether with staff or clients or partners, or even online, with diplomacy and calmness. So here's an example. You say to your coaches, hey, we're implementing a staff playbook. From now on, we're all going to deliver our classes this way. Or from now on, we're all going to wear this. Or from now on, this is what we're going to say to clients when we contact them on the phone. But a coach hears it and they don't like it. What? No, it feels like we're a franchise. It feels like we're being a McDonald's. What are you trying to commoditize our product, right? And instead of escalating, the owner listens, says, yeah, I hear your concerns. I understand. A few months ago, I would have felt the same way. Here's why we're doing this, because our business is only as strong as our worst day. You need to be tactful. And tact doesn't mean just being nice to everybody. It might mean being kind. So you need to be absolutely clear, but you can deliver that clarity with kindness. You can't avoid the tough conversations, but you can deliver them with niceness. Online, what this means is that you don't damage your business by posting personal rants about the government or taxes or how hard business is, right? You need to understand, like, you are on stage all the time, even if you don't like that. You have to be tactful, which means being clear, but being compassionate. And you have to be able to de-escalate yourself so that you're not making things worse when you're talking to people. So here's how to learn this. First off, practice active listening. Repeat back what you hear to make sure that you understand what the person's saying. Okay, Brene Brown, if you've read any of her books, has a great term for this called the SFD, the shitty first draft, which is that our first interpretation of what somebody says to us is probably the wrong interpretation. And also, they are not communications experts, so they probably didn't iterate what they meant to say very well. That means if you ask them, like, is this what you mean when they say something to you, it buys you time to think it over, and it also gives them an opportunity to better explain what they mean, to de-escalate, to bring it down. Another way to build this is to role play tough conversations with a mentor or a trusted peer. Hey, if you've got a conversation that occurs regularly and it triggers you, it makes you emotional, stressed, scared, like a sales conversation, you need to practice that. You need to get some reps in. You'll never maybe become comfortable with it, but you will become comfortable with discomfort. You'll learn to say, like, oh boy, this isn't my favorite, but I can do it. And then finally, you can use techniques like taking a pause before responding to emotional triggers. One great trick that I learned is to picture a set of dominoes lined up in your head. And when somebody says something that's triggering, you need to take a pause so that the dominoes don't knock over the next dominoes. Let me explain what I mean. A coach comes up to you and says, hey, I want to talk to you about this new policy. The tone of their voice might suggest that they're not happy. If your thoughts run away with you, if the dominoes are stacked too closely together, you might jump to the next thought and start making assumptions. Man, she sounds angry. She's angry because she doesn't like towing the line. She's never been a team player. Either she gets on the bus or she gets the hell out of here. I probably need to fire her anyway. Maybe I should initiate. What's she going to tell her peers? What's she going to say on Facebook? Is she going to rant about me? You've achieved this heightened state when really she might have just stubbed her toe, or she might have caught you in the parking lot, or she might be in a rush herself. Maybe she's had a bad morning. Maybe the toaster didn't work and she's saying something abruptly. So you can say back to her, do you want to take a few minutes and talk about the new policy? You're just questioning what she's just said back to her. This lets her reiterate what she said. It lets you build a little space between the dominoes. So you're not just like knocking over this chain effect. And it lets you have a more comfortable conversation more clearly. The fourth skill that every gym owner needs in 2025 is forward thinking and problem solving. So this is the ability to anticipate challenges and create proactive solutions, to see a little bit ahead what could happen. Okay, so here's an example. A gym owner sees that class attendance is dipping in the summer. July, man, nobody's coming to my 6 p.m. class anymore. And so they launch a summer challenge program to keep engagement high. Okay, so first off, the first thing that I would do is go back to looking at metrics and say, does this happen every July? Gee, maybe I should change my hours ahead of time. It's too late to change my hours reactively now, but next year I can announce my summer schedule back in May that doesn't include a 6 p.m. class. Okay, so this is the ability to think forward and solve problems before they happen, so you're not just repeating the same problems all the time. It'll also let you launch a summer challenge program to keep engagement high. So maybe you do a habits challenge in July. Maybe you do an event in September that'll keep people coming in July to train for it. Maybe you switch your focus to kids' sports teams in July or kids' day camps or whatever. You can create a bridge if you're thinking forward instead of always playing defense and saying, oh, panicking, it's down, what do I do? And over time, as you mature as an entrepreneur, you will gain this skill, but it's best gained with the help of a mentor who can say, here's how we're going to fix it this time, and here's how we're going to fix it so that it never happens again. Help you make that plan. And over time, you do that with your mentor enough times, you'll develop that skill yourself. So here's how to do it. Number one, regularly evaluate trends in your gym's performance. Look at your revenue. Look at your net owner benefit. Look at your client headcount. Look at your leads. Chart these all out. We do this for you in TwoBrain. We have an app for this. But you want to look at that chart and you want to say like, hey, what's coming up in the next 3 months that I should get ready for? Use tools like business scorecards and dashboards, which we help you build in TwoBrain, to identify your weak points. And of course, a mentor has an objective bird's eye view. So they'll say, look, you need to charge people more, even when you don't want to hear it. The fifth skill that every gym owner needs to build in 2025 is an abundance mindset. And this is the belief that success is not a zero-sum game and that opportunities for growth are always available. You know, I've told this story many times, but back around 2005, when I opened up my first location, I would show up early. I would get there before 5:30 a.m., even if my first client didn't show up till 6, because I wanted to press my face to the front window and I wanted to look down the street. I wanted to see if the other gyms were even open yet. And of course they weren't. And one day, one of my partners, Norm, said, Chris, why do you do that? Like, you lose an hour of sleep, you know, you're looking at what the other guys are doing instead of focusing on what you need to do. And I said, because Norm, I'm going to put all those other guys out of business. I'm going to take all their clients. There's maybe 100 clients in this town who do personal training. 50 of them come to me now. The best way to get 50 more is to put the other guys out of business. And he said, you're wrong. But it still took me years to figure out that that wasn't the case, that you can't steal clients, and neither could they steal from me. So instead of fearing competition, a gym owner should collaborate with other gyms to host a fitness event, expanding their audience and building goodwill. Like, you can work with other gyms. You can cross-refer. You don't have to have a formal contract in place. You don't have to keep a scoreboard of who's referring more to who. You can just refine what you do and get better at it by moving the not so good fits to other gyms. If they've got a specialty like cycling, you know, I've got a gym a block from me. He's amazing at coaching cycling. I send cyclists to Ryan. I've got another gym 2 blocks north of me here, Tyler. He mostly coaches kids. He does lots of Ninja Warrior stuff. Amazing. They love it. If I've got kids coming in, I don't do kids programs. I send them to Tyler. Like, this is how you collaborate in a local market. You don't worry about how many clients are they sending back. But you shouldn't fear competition. Your competition is not the other gym down the street. It's the coach that's sticking to your future clients' butts. It's the misinformation they're getting from their food labels. It's the Netflix and chill culture that's building in the younger generation. Like, these are the people that we need to worry about, not the people who are already going to other gyms. So building this abundance mindset, though, it sounds easier than it is. Here's what you got to do. First, you need to celebrate your wins every single day. You need to keep a journal. You need to write down 3 to 5 things that went right. The problem with the scarcity mindset is that our brain only tracks losses. And so we think that we're always losing, that the walls are closing in, and that we have to play defense, right? We have this abundance of scarcity because that says resources are getting scarce, clients are getting scarce, it's harder to get clients. That's not true. Facebook ads don't work. That's not true. Referrals don't work. That's not true. They're just not working for you. So the problem is that our brain remembers these losses and forgets its wins. And so you have to be deliberate about focusing on your wins every week. So, every single day, you should write down, here are 3 things that went right. Every time a client says you changed my life or sends you a nice Facebook message or text, you should print that out and stick it on your wall. You need external reminders of these wins because you don't internalize them. You only internalize the losses, and that's what creates a scarcity mindset. You also need to practice gain thinking. So instead of looking at what went wrong, compare your current state to where you started. So, man, I just had a bad day. I lost 3 clients today. I can't believe it. Horrible. But you're also up 100 clients from where you started 2 years ago. You need to take that long-term view even when you're looking back. You have to compare your current position to where you started, not where you wish you were. Dan Sullivan has a great book on this called The Gap and the Gain. And finally, you should work with a mentor to reframe your negative thoughts into growth opportunities. Man, I lost 3 clients today. Okay, that's a flag. And that flag tells us there's something wrong with your retention. But if we fix it, it will be fixed for the next 30 years and help you keep 300 clients longer. So you have to reframe that, and having an objective mentor really helps. They're not there to make you feel better, but they are there to keep you focused, avoiding a scarcity mindset, building for the future, and feeling like you've got momentum. Here are the key skills you need to develop in 2025. First, focus. Focus multiplies your efforts. Reflection keeps you honest, keeps you aware of the realities. Tact makes the tough conversations easier because you get better at those conversations. Forward thinking keeps you ahead of challenges. You're not taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back anymore. And abundance mindset keeps you growing as a person, as a leader, and as a gym. I really want you to think through this list and say, which one of those skills am I really lacking? It's hard to diagnose yourself, and that's why we are a mentorship practice. If you want to get started with a mentor, if you want to talk about mentorship, go to gymownersunited.com. That's our free Facebook group with 10,000 gym owners in there. They're there to help you. They're there to give you some guidance. And when you're ready, they're there to guide you toward mentorship. I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym. And I really hope that you end 2025 a better entrepreneur than you are now.